Hello and welcome to another Stories to Inspire Kentucky Fort Knox Fridays video post. I wanted to share with you the story of Art Carlson, a Korean War veteran I know from the Chicagoland area. I visited with Art after one of my performances there and got to see his collection of World War II destroyer models that he made himself. I thought you might enjoy seeing them as much as I did. I visited Art Carlson in his apartment along with my mom, sister-in-law, and nephew. We had a great afternoon as he showed us his World War II ships and told us the story behind them.
Grandfather had a book on battleships of World War I, and it's just so intrigued by this stuff. I just had to make ships out of metal, warships, you know. I started when I was 8 years old. I made a model passenger train out of cardboard. My mom got paste for me. She made it out of flour and water. And I glued these pieces together, and I'd color with a color crayon, all the windows and everything. So I had my little passenger train. Well, we didn't have any toys, so I made my own. Now, if I made a battleship, I wouldn't have room for it, because an aircraft carrier, it wouldn't fit in the room.
So Art showed us the plans that he had used to create his World War II destroyers. He had managed for just $50 to buy the original plans of these actual World War II battleships, had created them with painstaking detail, 1/4 inch equaling a foot, and it included all of the specifications of the original ships, of course, excluding all of the interior of the ship. 3 ships are showcased in Art's apartment: an LST, the Hammond, and the Joseph P. Kennedy.
This is in Italy. They must have already landed everything. That's where their doors are open when they put everything on shore. LST, that's what's the one. That's that one back there. They were called half tracks because they're half tank and half truck. These are Sherman tanks. And they'd go down a ramp, open the doors, and they go out on the beach.
The next ship in our amazing tour was the Joseph P. Kennedy Jr., which, like the original that it's named after, is also seaworthy, with 2 motors to make it navigable in the water. A picture of the World War II destroyer Hammond, just before it was sunk by the Japanese, prepared us for the amazing replica of it we would see in the other room. My absolute favorite part of the tour was watching Art's face come alive as he explained to us how he made these ships out of metal. To picture him putting together each tiny little detail to recreate such an amazing picture of what these ships must have been like in real life during World War II, even down to the men who walk the decks of his ships, who, according to his scale, are all exactly 6 feet tall. Intricate details can be found around every corner of the ships, from this hose to a rope hung over the side of the Kennedy to create a rope ladder, to a container full of corks and nets that the crew would have used if washed overboard. Some of the items, such as the lifeboats, were bought ready-made, but many of the items were simply a product of Art's ingenuity, such as this ladder made out of staples. My nephew's favorite part of the Kennedy was learning about the anti-aircraft guns. The guns sit at the front and the back of the ship, and he got to sit on the couch and pose with a World War II 40mm shell. All of us were astounded at the size of the shells that the guns on the front of the ship shot out, shells that were way too big to sit on the couch and hold, and that Art said he couldn't even handle himself. All in all, it was a rewarding afternoon, learning about Art from when he was a child, making his own toys, to when he grew up and married his sweetheart, to his days in the Korean War, and until today, sharing his love of creating and of history with the next generation. Thank you, Art, for your service to our country. Thanks for joining us. Please join us again next time for another Fort Knox Fridays video post.